Hello, welcome to channel Love Food. Today in this video we will talk about everything related to milk. I hope you enjoy watching. Milk is a liquid food and is rich in nutrients. Milk is produced by the mammary glands of mammals. It is the main food source for young mammals. This also applies to young people. A human baby is breastfed until it can digest solid food. Early milk, or first-day milk, is colostrum that contains antibodies that boost babies' immune systems, reducing the risk of contracting many diseases. Milk contains many nutrients, including protein, lactose, and calcium. Milk consumption is common among several species of mammals, particularly humans, many of whom consume the milk of other mammals. Milk is an agricultural product because the milk comes from livestock. Dairy farms produced about 730 million metric tons, 800 million metric tons, of milk from 260 million dairy cows in 2011. India is the world's largest milk producer and the leading exporter of skimmed milk powder, but exports few other dairy products. However, the ever-increasing domestic demand for dairy products and the wide gap between supply and demand in India could lead to imports of all dairy products in the future. The largest exporters of dairy products are New Zealand, Germany, and the Netherlands. China and Russia were the world's top importers of milk and dairy products until 2016, before the two countries became self-sufficient and contributed to the global milk glut. More than 6 billion people worldwide consume milk and dairy products. Between 750 and 900 million people live on farms. Humans learned to regularly consume the milk of other mammals after domesticating animals during the Neolithic Revolution or the development of agriculture. This development took place independently in different places around the world, from 700 to 900 BC. In Mesopotamia to 300 to 3500 BC in America. Humans first domesticated the major dairy animals such as cows, sheep, and goats in Southwest Asia, although domesticated cattle are naturally descended from herds of wild bulls, and this has happened several times since. Originally, animals were raised only for meat, and archaeologist Andrew Sherratt has suggested that the dairy industry, as well as the use of domestic animals for wool and labor, began much later, in another epidemic of byproducts in the 4th millennium BC. Sherratt's suggestion has no support, however, found the results of recent discoveries. Analysis of lipids in prehistoric pottery has shown that cow milking was practiced in the early stages of agriculture in Southwest Asia, at least as early as the 7th millennium BC. Domesticated dairy animals spread from Southwest Asia to Europe, starting about 700 BC but not reaching Britain and Scandinavia until after 400 BC, and South Asia, 5500 to 3500 BC. Early farmers in Central Europe and Great Britain cared for their animals. Agro-pastoral and pastoral economies, which relied primarily or exclusively on domesticated animals and their products rather than crops, developed after European peasants in the 4th millennium BC had settled the Pontic-Caspian steppes, and later spread to most of the Eurasian steppe. Sheep and goats came to Africa from Southwest Asia, but African cattle may have been introduced around 6000 to 7000 BC. Independently domesticated. Camels that lived in the 4th millennium BC in Central Arabia were domesticated in North Africa and on the Arabian Peninsula as a dairy product. Early Egyptian records describe the use of bandages to treat burns on the mother. Milk for male infants. Historically, milk and dairy products have not constituted a significant part of the diet in the rest of the world, i.e. East and Southeast Asia, Americas and Australia, either because these areas were inhabited by hunter-gatherers and were not persecuted, or because agriculture was not all types of domesticated dairy animals. Drinking milk has become popular in these regions relatively recently due to European colonialism and its political control over much of the world for the past 5 centuries. In the Middle Ages, milk was called virtuous white wines because the alcoholic beverage was safer to drink than water. 40. James Rosier reports during George Weymouth's voyage to New England in 1605, which captured Wabanaki of Weymouth, Maine, that they were dealing with reindeer and fowl deer. But Avery Yale reporter Camilla and food historians said Rosier misinterpreted the evidence. Historians report that the Wabanaki did not domesticate deer. In the past, peanut milk was made by northern forest tribes. The cows were then exported to New England in 1624. Industrialization. Urban population growth coupled with the expansion of the rail network in the mid-19th century revolutionized milk production and delivery. Private railway companies began transporting milk from rural areas to London in the 1840s and 1850s. The first transport of milk by rail probably took place in 1846 when St. Southwark's Hospital entered into a contract with milk suppliers outside London to transport the milk finished on the rail. The Great Western Railway was an early enthusiastic user and, despite much criticism, began hauling milk from Maidenhead to London in 1860. The company continued to ship milk, shipping over 25 million imperial gallons by 1900, equivalent to 110 million liters or 30 million US gallons annually. The milk trade grew slowly in the 1860s, but underwent a radical structural change in the 1870s and 1880s. Urban demand for milk began to grow as power increased purchasing power and milk became a common consumer product. During the last 3 decades of the 19th century, demand for milk doubled and in some cases even tripled in most parts of the country. In 1875, a law was passed making adulteration of milk illegal, accompanied by a marketing campaign to change the milk's image. The proportion of milk imported from rural London rose from 5% of total domestic consumption in the 1860s to over 96% in the early 20th century. At that time, the milk supply system was the most organized and integrated of all food products. The first glass bottles were used to package milk in 1870. Perhaps the first company to do this was the New York Dairy Company in 1877. The Express Dairy Company of England began making bottles in 1880. In 1884, Hervey Thatcher, an American inventor from New York, invented a glass milk bottle called Thatcher's Healthy Sensible Milk Jar that was sealed with a wax paper disc. Later, in 1932, milk cartons made of laminated paper were introduced. In 1863, French chemist and biologist Louis Pasteur invented pasteurization, a method of killing harmful bacteria in beverages and foods. He developed this method during a summer holiday in Arbois to deal with the acidity of the local wines. It has been found experimentally that simply heating freshly made wine to around 122 to 140 degrees Fahrenheit, 50 to 60 degrees Celsius, for a short time will kill the microbes, and eventually the wine will age properly without affecting its quality. This process became known as pasteurization in honor of Pasteur. Pasteurization was originally used to keep wine and beer from spoiling. Pasteurization equipment was commercially manufactured in Germany in the 1880s, with manufacturers adopting the Copenhagen-Stockholm pasteurization process in 1885. Milk is packed with nutrients. The nutritional profile of milk is impressive. Finally, it is intended for the complete nutrition of newborn animals. A single cup, 244 grams, of whole cow's milk contains calories, 146, protein, 8 grams, fat, 8 grams, calcium, 28% of, AJR, vitamin D, 24% of, RDA, riboflavin, B2, 26% of the RDA, vitamin B12, 18% of the RDA, potassium, 10% of the RDA, phosphorus, 22% of the RDA, selenium, 13% of the RDA. Milk is an excellent source of vitamins and minerals, including nutrients of concern, which are underconsumed by many populations. Provides potassium, vitamin B12, calcium, and vitamin D, which are lacking in many diets. Milk is also a good source of vitamin A, magnesium, zinc, and thiamine, B1. A great source of protein. Plus contains hundreds of different fatty acids, including conjugated linoleic acid, CLA, and omega-3 fatty acids. Conjugated linoleic acid and omega-3 fatty acids have been linked to several health benefits, including a reduced risk of diabetes and heart disease. The nutritional value of milk depends on factors such as the fat content and the diet and treatment of the cow from which it comes. For example, milk from cows that primarily eat grass contains significantly higher amounts of conjugated linoleic acid and omega-3 fatty acids. In addition, cow's milk from organically grass-fed cows contains higher levels of beneficial antioxidants like vitamin E and beta-carotene, which help reduce inflammation and fight heart disease and oxidative stress. 2. It is a good source of high-quality protein. Milk is a rich source of protein, and a single cup contains 8 grams. Protein is essential for many important bodily functions, including growth and development, cell repair, and regulation of the immune system. Milk is considered a complete protein, meaning it contains all 9 essential amino acids needed for the body to function optimally. There are 2 main types of proteins in milk, casein and whey proteins. Both are considered high-quality proteins. Casein makes up the majority of the protein in cow's milk, accounting for 70 to 80% of the total protein content. Whey accounts for about 20%. Whey protein contains the branched-chain amino acids leucine, isoleucine, and valine, all of which have been linked to health benefits. Branched-chain amino acids may be particularly beneficial for building muscle, preventing muscle wasting, and providing energy during exercise. Milk consumption has been linked to a lower risk of age-related muscle wasting in several studies. In fact, higher consumption of milk and dairy products is associated with higher total body muscle mass and better physical fitness in older adults. Milk has also been shown to accelerate muscle recovery in athletes. Several studies have shown that drinking milk after a workout can reduce muscle damage, accelerate muscle recovery, increase strength, and even reduce muscle soreness. Plus is a natural alternative to highly processed protein shakes marketed for post-workout recovery. 3. Milk is good for bone health. Milk consumption has long been associated with bone health. This is due to a potent combination of nutrients, including calcium, phosphorus, potassium, protein, and, in the case of grass-fed dairy, vitamin K2. All of these nutrients are essential for maintaining strong, healthy bones. About 99% of the body's calcium is stored in bones and teeth. Milk is an excellent source of nutrients the body needs for proper calcium absorption, including vitamin D, vitamin K, phosphorus, and magnesium. Adding milk and dairy products to your diet can prevent bone diseases such as osteoporosis. Studies have linked milk and dairy products to a lower risk of osteoporosis and fractures, particularly in older people. In addition, milk is a good source of protein, an important nutrient for bone health. In fact, protein accounts for about 50% of bone volume and about a third of bone weight. There is evidence that eating more protein may protect against bone loss, particularly in women who are not getting enough calcium in their diet. 4. Helps prevent weight gain. Several studies have found an association between milk consumption and a lower risk of obesity. Interestingly, this benefit was only associated with whole milk. A study of 145 3-year-old Hispanic children found that higher intakes of milk fat were associated with a lower risk of childhood obesity. Another study of more than 18,000 middle-aged and older women found that consuming high-fat dairy products was associated with less weight gain and a lower risk of obesity. Milk contains a variety of ingredients that can aid in weight loss and prevent weight gain. For example, due to its high protein content, it keeps you full for longer, which can help prevent overeating. In addition, the conjugated linoleic acid in milk has been studied for its ability to enhance weight loss by promoting fat breakdown and inhibiting fat production. Additionally, numerous studies have linked a high-calcium diet to a lower risk of obesity. There is evidence that people with high dietary calcium intake have a lower risk of becoming overweight or obese. Studies have shown that high levels of calcium in the diet promote the breakdown of fats and inhibit the absorption of fats in the body. 5. Milk is a versatile ingredient. Milk is a nutritious beverage that offers numerous health benefits. Plus, it's a versatile ingredient that's easy to add to your diet. In addition to drinking milk, try these ideas to incorporate into your daily routine. Smoothies provides a great high-protein base for healthy smoothies. Try green veggies and a small amount of fruit for a nutritious snack. Oatmeal provides a tastier and more nutritious alternative to water when is preparing oatmeal or warm cereal in the morning. Coffee, add to your morning coffee or tea to give your an extra dose of beneficial nutrients. Soups, try adding this to your favorite soup recipe for extra flavor and nutrition.